And normally when you're doing a detail on the interior of a car, you don't need anything else other than some interior detailer and a microfiber towel. But this is Ed Bollion's VINwiki car, and we are esoteric, so we don't do things that way. Stay tuned because we're going to go into details next of a major overhaul of the interior. Hi, I'm Todd Cooperrider with Esoteric. For those of you who have been following along this VINwiki series, we definitely appreciate it. If you're new to it, make sure you click on the info cards and it'll take you to the playlist of all the videos that we've done on this project car. Okay, obviously we're on the interior of Ed's car. We're getting into a new phase. We've gone through painting, we've gone through carbon fiber, we've gone through paint correction. Now let's take a look at the inside. Like I said in the opening, normally a car like this, about 30 minutes is all you need. Some interior detailer, maybe some glass cleaner, and you're good to go. But you can see that we're doing things a little bit differently on this car. Let's talk about interiors real quick. First of all, interior makes all the difference in the world. You could be driving a dirty car, but when your interior is nicely detailed up, it just feels good when you're driving it, and it has a nice presentation. Well, with Ed's car, like we talked about in previous videos, it was kind of lifeless. This whole car is covered in red leather. It was just kind of dead, drab looking. There's tons of carbon fiber. It's one of the big things that sets this car apart is the amount of carbon fiber that's in here. Over time, it gets scratched, swirled. It still has sandy marks in it from the factory, takes away from the potential of how it can look. And also with these older Ferraris, you get into 355s, 360s, 430s. You get a lot of the buttons and control pieces that are on here, and they get gummy and sticky over time. It's something they all had it, same area of Lamborghinis, Maseratis. They probably all use the exact same supplier for them. So you have to redo those because they start looking bad as well. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about the leather. As I said, this whole interior is covered in beautiful red leather that was just dirty. It was looking a little bit worn. So we went in and did a really deep cleaning and conditioning, brought out a lot of the color. And not only did we do that, but as you can see here, we disassembled a lot of the parts too, so we get full access to it to make sure that every square inch of it is looking good. The seats, obviously, they came out. With the seats, there was some wear and tear on it, and I can tell that there had been some re-dye work. Matter of fact, on the back carbon fiber, I found overspray of red where you can tell somebody had come in and done some work on a budget, let's say, before. So the driver's seat in particular had to have some more repair work done to it. We've got a great guy that does that work for us. He repaired it, and he said that he could see at least 2 times where it had been repaired in the past. There was 2 different shades of red going on. So he got that all repaired. The passenger seat, there was a lot of deep cleaning we did, and that was the passenger seat. So you can imagine what the driver's seat was like. And then on the backs of the seats, the seat shells in these cars are carbon fiber. So obviously we went in, polished all that up, made a huge difference on it. Then we put a coat of premium wax on the back of it to really make them pop. What difference does that make? Well, you're probably not going to see it much. You can only get a small glimpse from it, but it's nice knowing that it's done properly and it's going to stay looking great for a long period of time. Then also we removed the door panels. These entire door panels are carbon fiber. We removed the door panels and we removed all the door sills as well. Did a tremendous amount of work. If you've watched the carbon fiber video that we have in this series, you can see some of the before and after differences, which was just absolutely crazy. The door panels, they came from the factory with a lower section of paint protection film. People's feet hit it and they want to kind of protect it. It was old, beat up, yellow, looked bad. We removed that. Then we went in and polished all the carbon fiber. Then we went back in and did custom paint protection film to replace it so that it stays looking good. So those will make a major impact. You take, even if you just took the door panels, polished them and did nothing else, it's going to make so much contrast on the interior of these cars. and they're going to look much, much better. You get inside it, it's just going to feel a lot nicer. Here in the center console, you know, you've got a couple of big leather sections to it. You have got the carbon fiber section, and you've got some of the control buttons that had that sticky problem that I told you about. We removed all that, separated it, had the buttons refinished, took the carbon fiber, polished it all out. It gets touched a lot, so it's going to have a lot of scratches in it. Polished it all out so it looks good. Then all the leather was done. So when all that comes back together, it's going to look like brand new. It's going to have heavy contrast to it, and it just gives us the opportunity to come in here, clean the base flooring really well before it gets put back together. The steering wheel here, particularly on a car that's got lighter colored leather, it's going to look worn. So going in there, doing some heavy cleaning and conditioning on it, and then you can see it's taped up here. On the upper part, it's carbon fiber. We'll go in and machine polish that to bring a bit of the luster back as well. Around the steering column, that whole big piece, it's two pieces that come apart. And that one was so sticky and gummy. I mean, you can put your thumb in it and leave a thumbprint behind. It was really nasty where you put the key in the ignition. Took those apart, had them refinished, put it back together, and makes a big difference. So that whole steering area is going to be addressed. It's going to look a lot better. And then also Ed had a problem, which is typical for these cars. The dash starts, the leather starts shrinking and separating away from some of the trim. Well, you've got a couple of choices on that. One, leave it alone and you see a big gap and it looks kind of bad. Two, you have everything recovered. Well, that's disassembling the entire dash, redoing everything in leather. It's a huge expense and a huge amount of time that it takes to do that. Well, we came up with a third option to just apply some trim work in Alcantara above it that hides the gap that was there, and it kind of blends it in and looks factory. And then just a good thorough cleanup everywhere in here. We're also removing the tints on these back quarter windows. Ed didn't like tint on it, so we'll remove those and get it back to a factory look. Then it's going to come down to a reassembly of all the pieces. And when it's all said and done, like I said, a normal interior detail, it's going to be about 30 minutes. This will probably have 12 plus hours wrapped up just in the interior alone. I haven't done the math on it yet. It could end up to be quite a bit more when you figure the leather repair, all the work on the seats, all the time disassembling it. But in the end, Ed is going to have an interior that matches the looks of the exterior on this car now, and it's going to take a lot of years off of it, add a lot of value as well. You're going to compare the interior to this once it's all reassembled to other 430 Scuderias, and unless it's a 200-mile garage queen out there, this is going to look as good or better than anything else out there that you're going to find. So big project. You know, it wasn't just the exterior paint or the carbon fiber. The interior has gotten a tremendous amount of love on this as well. We have a lot of pieces on this car to rebuild. So having said that, we're going to get back to work. I think Ed is really going to appreciate it. He's going to be here in a couple of days, and that's when we're going to be shooting the video with Ed's reactions to the finished car once it's all put back together. And we're having a special event here at Esoteric. So make sure that you watch for the next video. We're going to have the car completely reassembled, and hopefully we get a classic reaction from Ed when he finally gets to see it as a finished product.